You really can't go unnoticed when you're wearing any of these 10 fragrances. And so I always like to make that known because, you know, we're kind of talking about things that are just outside of the realm of fresh, clean shower gel or deodorant smell, which is nothing wrong with those, but those do blend in a little bit more. Something that's clean, soapy, and fresh. People are less likely to really make an effort to reach out and comment on your scent when you're wearing something like that because it's such a common smell. When you start getting into things like we're going to be talking about today, there's something about these that just grabs attention in a different way where people maybe do feel more compelled to ask you what you're wearing because maybe they want to get it or they want to get it for someone close to them in their life. And so, you know, if you're someone who doesn't like, you know, interactions with people throughout your day-to-day life, keep that in mind with these. For a lot of people, that's what they strive for. That's what they dream about at night. Getting compliments, having somebody tell them that they smell great, and where can they get it. So that's what these are going to be all about today. Where can you get these? Well, you can get all these down below at the links in the description. Shop at discount or save yourself some money. The first one is Hugo Boss The Scent Magnetic. You really can't go wrong with anything in this line. You know, I said that before, and I still think to this day, when you're talking about money spent on designer scents, most anything from Hugo Boss in the scent line is worth getting. Just in general, I think the brand is fantastic as far as affordable scents go, but especially the scent line, they're all pretty unique. It's got brand, manica fruit, and some lavender. Now this one in particular, it's going to smell, again, a little bit different than what you're used to smelling from most designer brands and most designer scents in general, being that manica fruit. Something that's very uncommon, but it's something that does stand out in a unique way that separates this from everything else, but it also does make this one fit in with the rest of the scent lineup. So whether you're going for this or the scent Elixir, Private Accord, Absolute, the original, whatever it is, whatever you can get your hands on, you really just can't go wrong with any of them. And I do recommend looking into the line at some point. This is a really good starting point right here. I think you're looking usually at around $80 or so for a full bottle on discounters, which isn't really all that bad considering what you get in return, which is just something unique and high quality. So let's go for something niche up next. You know, you've got a lot of options here as well, and this is where you can actually start to get a little bit carried away, so to speak, depending on kind of what your end result is, because niche can be a great way to really express yourself and really make yourself stand out. Or you could have something a little bit more, you know, down-to-earth smelling and a little bit more normal smelling that will still have enough of a head-turning kind of facet about it to where it still works. It's kind of just like striking that perfect balance. And I think that Parfums de Marly Layton does a good job. You know, people always kind of say this is a designer scent. You know, it's designer in a niche bottle with a niche price. It's kind of what people described Layton as. And it's just because it's a really sweet, kind of modernized, relatively, I don't know, just kind of common smell, I guess is how people would say that it comes across. But it still works so well that it's almost hard to not like it. You know, that cinnamon, the vanilla, the tonka bean, all of that smells amazing in this one. Now this is expensive, right? And so, you know, if you don't want to get a full bottle of it, there are clones and quite a few of them as well to choose from. You know, you could get for as low as $25 to $30. Some of the other clones will be a little bit more. It just depends on the quality that you're trying to get, what you're wanting to spend. We do have samples of this one if you do want to try the real deal at a fraction of the cost over on decantcenter.com. So that's another option for you as well. I think it's worth getting your nose on this in some way, whether it be sampling, clones, trying it in person, blind buying. It's worth knowing what this one's all about because it does work at the end of the day. YSL MYSLF Le Parfum is up next. Now this is, well, it's the newest one within the MYSLF line. It's the second one currently, but I would imagine that they're working on more because, well, look at YSL in general. They have a ton of flankers in all of their fragrance lines. Orange blossom, amber, patchouli, and some vanilla in here. This one is kind of a sweet, citrusy scent. It's a really interesting combination. The Eau de Parfum does a similar thing with a ton of orange blossom and musk, but then a little bit of a sweetness too. The sweetness here is amplified in this compared to the Eau de Parfum. And if I had to choose my favorite between the original and the Le Parfum, I'm going with this one. Now, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, still nothing crazy, and the price is working its way down off of retail quite a bit now on discounters, so it's becoming, you know, a little bit more manageable and a little bit more worthwhile. Retail price is a bit much. And at the end of the day, this is definitely not something unique and exciting. I mean, you're not going to smell this and go, wow, that is a completely original creation, right? That's just not what's going to happen with this. But I do think that it's a different twist on a common style that is very popular right now. And so I do think that this type of thing works well for turning heads, capturing attention, and kind of just gets people talking a little bit. Because it's the perfect balance of fresh and a little bit sweet, right? And so you have this clean freshness, a little bit of this sweet, mysterious smell. And you also find that because of that, you can use it in fall and winter when it's getting cooler out, but also, of course, in the warmer times of the months as well. All right, you know, the first few there were a little bit expensive. Let's go for something borderline cheap. Maybe it is cheap, depending on your definition. Dunhill Icon, just the original. They do have a few flankers, and the flankers are good. I do think that the original is the best. This, to me and to many, has a grape soda smell, which is very bizarre. You know, you don't really think of a cologne and then think of, oh, it smells a little bit like grape soda. But this one does, and it's really the combination of the citruses and the ginger accord in here, and then some of the florals too. And so when you smell it, I mean, it just, yeah, has a grape soda smell. Bubbly, fizzy grape with a nice musky freshness. The type of florals and the type of citrus that they're using gives it a little bit of a sweetness, but again, there's still so much of a fresh balance as well. And the other thing that really throws this one off is, I'm going to tell you that I think this is a relatively refined gentleman scent, which also doesn't correlate when you think of something that resembles grape soda, right? You would think of something quite the opposite. But the way that this one goes from start to finish, it does have a gentleman smell to it. It really does have more of a refined and sophisticated smell compared to something like MYSLF Le Parfum, which is a little bit more on the younger side of things. I think this one would impress you with just how unique and good it is for the price. Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé by Givenchy. I love this stuff. To me, it's the best in the line. You know, I'll just say it, and I've said it before, so that's nothing new here. But as far as all of the gentleman fragrances, I think this is the one to get. Now, I'm not saying that the others aren't good, because of course they are. I've talked about those over the years. Eau de Parfum Boisé, Eau de Toilette 2017, of course the EDP, Eau de Toilette Intense. I mean, they're all really good. Even the cologne version, which is discontinued, great as well. But what ends up happening is when they're putting out new releases, not quite year over year with them, but, you know, frequently, I mean, at some point they're just going to outdo themselves, or they're going to create new products that are better than the existing ones. And so I think that's what they've done right here. I think this is the current best. Now, do I think you need to own every single one of them? Most probably not. I do think it would be worth checking out a couple. Okay, and so I would think the Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé would be the must-have, and then go from there based upon what your taste is. If you want something fresher and very wearable, Eau de Toilette Intense. If you want something that's a little bit sweet but has a little bit of like a freshness with it, just kind of a hybrid, Eau de Parfum Boisé, right? So you have options there. But this one uses whiskey and chestnut with a beautiful iris note and kind of a chocolatey smell to create just a beautiful blend. Again, this is an amazing scent, you know? So it uses that iris DNA, which is popular, but what separates this from the rest is the simple fact that it is using a bit of a whiskey note and even the chestnut kind of gourmand aspect, which is relatively common, just not with iris scents. And so this one really stands out for those reasons. Going for a niche again, but this one is designer price, okay? It's Mancera Cosmic Pepper. You know, I just don't think that you can go wrong with this one in any situation, and that's what I love about it, and that's why I love Mancera in general so much, is because a lot of their niche is ultimately very wearable, very affordable, and just great performing too. And so you do have your outliers, like, I don't know, you could probably argue that red tobacco isn't the most wearable thing ever, but it is still strong performing and affordable. But when you take a look at Cedrat Boise, this one, Cosmic Pepper, Amberful, new one, Vetiver Sensuel, even things like Oud Lemon Mint. I mean, just for the most part, those are all just really wearable. If you like it, you could pretty much pull it off. Some times of the year may be less favorable than others, depending on the scent, but you get the idea. They just have a lot of great options that you can actually get your money's worth out of in the terms of actually being able to wear it. And with this one, to me, it's a blend of like Chanel Allure Homme Sport and Eau Extreme with a little bit of a spicy lavender, peppery La Nuit de l'Homme type of smell going on too. It's just kind of what it reminds me of, just a hybrid of those really. It has that creaminess from Chanel Allure Homme Sport, real nice rich spiciness from La Nuit with that lavender note as well, so that kind of that fresh, aromatic, warm, spicy, rich lavender. It's a fantastic smell from start to finish. I have loved this stuff since day one. I mean, it's one of those ones where, yeah, on paper and even describing it and smelling it, it's not the most unique thing ever that you would get excited about, but there's something about this one that works so well that I just can't help it. I love it. And it's relatively new, but I mean, it's already on discounters for, under $100, so it's just super reasonable. Azzaro, the Most Wanted. Okay, this is not the Parfum. I almost say that on accident every time, which I love that one too, but this is just the Most Wanted. It has a really nice toffee note in here, okay, which is very common, okay, that toffee. Sometimes it can give off a little bit of a chestnut gourmand smell, not so much in this case. Vanilla, tonka in here too. Quite a bit of ginger also off the opening, giving a little bit of a spice, sweet spiciness. It's quite a bit different than the original Wanted. Shares some similarities to Wanted by Night. And then if you have smelled the Most Wanted Parfum, which is still one of my favorites too, if you have smelled that, this is similar, right? Obviously this came first. It makes sense that they would kind of go down that line a little bit, but that's where this one fits in. It's not completely different than everything. Shares some similarities, but also separates itself from the original too, which the original is not my favorite. Wanted by Night, this, Most Wanted Parfum, those are top tier. And so Tonic, the original, you could kind of do without those in my opinion. It's a great performer for a good price, discounter wise, I think $80 or so, somewhere around in there for 100 ml. It seems like, that's just kind of the new normal, right? Things used to be able to get $50 all day long for 100 ml, 50, 60. That's becoming less common. For the price though, 80 or so, it's a great purchase. L'Homme Ideal Extreme by Guerlain needs no introduction at all. I love it. It's one of my favorites. This one has plum, tobacco, beautiful almond note in here as well, and that's what makes this one. Those three right there. A combination that seems a little bit bizarre. It seems like something that wouldn't really work, and it definitely isn't common, but it's, I think, for those reasons that it does work, and it does make this one so appealing because, it's just, you get this nice sweet fruitiness and then a bit of a smoky tobacco, and then this kind of creamy, nutty almond note too. It's just something that's kind of unexpected, but in a great way. And I love this entire line, everything from the original, Eau de Parfum, Extreme, Cologne, Platine Privé, Cool, L'Intense, all of them, right? They're all really good. And I would say that that's probably not super common. I think for most, big fragrance lines, I could pick out a few from each that I just don't really care for. And I guess with this one, the only one would be Sport. So that's it, right? Only one out of the rest that they have, right? I think that's a really good track record. And it's not even that Sport is bad. It's just not as good as the others. So I think it's a great line, worth looking into. Oh, the Parfum, I forgot to mention the newest one, of course. That's amazing as well. So, I mean, they just know what they're doing here. We're going to go with another iris because why not? Valentino Uomo Intense. Now, this one in particular, it really focuses on leather along with that iris too. Not so much a thing in Reserve Privé. That one is more iris whiskey chestnut. This one is more iris leather. And I think the leather is incredible here because it's a different way of providing some of a masculine approach. Whereas something like Dior Homme Intense doesn't really have that, right? Dior Homme Intense has been described as smelling like a lipstick bag, right? And that in and of itself doesn't really make the claim of a masculine scent. Now, keep in mind, I love Dior Homme Intense, but probably more or less an acquired taste. Just the iris there is not really padded by too many other notes, whereas in Gentleman Reserve Privé, in this one, there's plenty of supplementation to kind of, balance things out. And so that's why I like the leather in this instance, and I think that's what makes this one so addicting as well. All right, we're gonna finish this video with an expensive one, but there are clones of it, plenty, like a ton of them. For some reason, it's really weird. YSL Tuxedo. Let me know down below. Would you say that this is probably, yeah, maybe not. I mean, I don't think anything can come as close to Aventus as far as being the most cloned, because Aventus is just, there are whole clone brands that were built around just cloning Aventus at one point, and they've branched out. But there are a ton of clones. There are a ton of clones of YSL Tuxedo, and it's kind of bizarre because, it's a popular scent, but not nearly as popular as a lot of other scents out there, at least to me. So it's kind of weird. It's a little side tangent there, but it's confusing to me. And so to name a couple that you could get if you don't want to spend, $250+ on this, Rochas Mustache EDP, Afnan Tarathi Brown, Fragrance World has a couple, Alhambra, Latafa has a couple. There are quite a few options. We do have samples of actual YSL Tuxedo up on our website too, if you would like to try it out. It's one that we really don't have in stock often because we don't buy it at retail. We only buy it when we can get it below retail. That way the price of the samples aren't outrageous. So if you've been wanting to try the real deal, check it out now while we have it, because we're going to be sold out again for a while after we run through our bottle, because it's hard to find below retail. But yeah, YSL Tuxedo, I love it. It's a patchouli spicy scent. Essentially, that's what it is. It says it right there, spices and patchouli. And that's basically it in a nutshell. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fantastic fragrances that people just can't help but notice. So I will link all these down below. If you're looking to, try before you buy, check out decantcenter.com. We'd love to help you out and earn your business. We have a bunch of designer and niche adding to the website pretty much every week. Just trying to get our variety built up for you. So if you just want to save some money and avoid making a costly mistake, go check us out. We have free shipping over $49, great rewards program, free sample in every order, ship every day of the week. If you're looking for full bottles, we have links to those down below as well, just through discounters. And so make sure you shop there too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.